Yep.
You got that? Oh, TV. Dang it.
Hold on. Now I do.
So chain with master link, that wraps over both of those flanges, okay?
Yep.
And then you wrap it around, put in the master link, they're now mated together. What are we going to be doing? We're going to inspect these and we're going to grease them. What can we want to use? Some people are packing them with axle grease. Some people are using a white lithium spray. Some of them are pouring gear oil on them once a month. I never thought this was important. Again, I come to you with experience. Usually bad experience. Get the master link out. Can't pull the chain apart. I've got all my teeth. Okay, now I gotta come with a grinder and try to cut. Guess what? If I cut right there, I have a tooth right there. So we are going on an angle with a grinder trying to cut the thing apart. Finally we get through, cut it apart, cold chisel breaking. Still can't get it undone. Cannot move it.
So it's fused to the
It is
gear?
just rusted in a solid circle. So that is a very, 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 very important item. And when you forget it every month, and 500,000 cars from now, you're going to say, right, I hate it right now. Because you're going to be fighting with a hammer and a cold chisel trying to pop it off. Yeah. All right. 15,000, inspect belt for alignment on rollers. Up front at the entrance of the conveyor, and you're going to go back and look at all of these things. Here's a return belt guide. This thing should not be laying horizontal, it should be vertical. Here's my belt. It's returning underneath. Here's my alignment roller. Got one on each side of each belt. Okay, we're going to make sure we want that belt. If you look at our take-up drums again, on that take-up drum, we have this flange on the end. Our goal is to have it centered on the take-up drum. You get 5,000 cars in, you're not moving it. That thing's already trained, it's already set. I can sit there with a pry bar, I can move that belt over, or push with my foot on that belt returning and get it to move over, let off. So watch that when you open those alignment rollers, pay really close attention to them. But monthly you're going to be inspecting those. What we have found over time, because of grime, that type of thing, they'll lose their ability to spin real well, and you'll start cutting a groove in them. They're very easy to replace. You can order the new piece of UHMW for it, not on top. Take the rubber off, slide it on, washer and done.
You can pretty much do that while you're doing plate swaps. If you have the,
Yeah,
if you've
you
noticed
can do that when you're flushing the pit at night.
Oh, that's true.
Because it's just not with a washer right there.
Oh, sorry, I was thinking of the take-up.
Oh, take-up drum?
Yeah.
Take-up drum should last again.
Should last for the life of the
life of the belt.
Okay.
Should. We just had bearings go here.
Okay.
Okay, and it was premature compared to what we're used to.
How often are you replacing the return belt guides? Would you say?
As needed.
So do you have any ideas to how long they're rated?
No, there is not a rating on there. It's a inspect monthly. We're seeing them go the life of the belt.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what again,
unless
I'm not saying, oh, we're just not even going to bother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get an idea. If you go, hey, every 50,000, one of them's going to get a groove more in it. You're going to probably want to swap that one. You know, that's what I'm trying to look for. Is
Yep. Every location is going to be different. It's eighth inch here, eighth inch there, so everything could react different based upon.
Before Randy and company leave, those should already be set and adjusted. You know,
They will.
Okay, just making sure if there's something that we need to be setting on those.
Yep.
You know, what is that? But it's sounding like, hey,
Randy has it all. This is post Randy.
Yep.
This is all of a sudden here's the keys to your new car. We're going over a preventative maintenance schedule.
Absolutely.
Recommendations, but this is not a Bible with a guarantee.
Understood.
Just like the auto manufacturer, if you flush your transmission every 50,000 miles, it will last forever. No. But when it fails prematurely, then you flush it every 50,000 miles.
Right.
Type of a thing. Depending upon the warranty, etc. But this is not biblical here. These are recommendations based on experience.
Understood.
Inspect transfer plates. 15,000 or monthly. Now, are we saying do a whole belt inspection? No. This is usually the first month open, and we're going to get to this too. But when I say inspect transfer plates, ride your belt.
Okay.
Okay? Ride that belt. I got something higher. Okay?
That's a good thing to notice. If
Yeah.
you feel yourself
You know,
rising
you know
up.
how many times
bumping.
Ryan and I have ridden this belt like right before we opened at River Towns and Rick. And
Let's not pretend you guys weren't doing it because it was fun.
honestly, we weren't.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
No, but we would ride that belt. Hey, come here, come here, come here. Ride this section, see if you're feeling what I'm feeling. Okay, now get a crowbar, lift that belt up. Look, oh, you know what? I got a plate that's got, it's not quite all the way down on that red iron. Just, there's a wear spot. Yeah. All right.
Got it.
Inspect the return rollers, 15,000 or monthly. Again, if you guys, if you can train your team, you guys are in there, they're flushing the pit. Hey guys, once a week you're gonna get that inspected. Your V-trucks are gonna get inspected. Your idle rollers are gonna get inspected. 15,000 cars once a month. Inspect belt tension, take out link as needed. How many links have you taken out of Spring Hill? How many cars have you washed?
I don't know how many. I know James has taken out a couple.
Couple. Okay.
And we've washed, we're at close to 100,000.
So you got a belt inspection coming up then.
Yep.
Hopefully make sure Mike's a part of that one.
Absolutely.
Yep, that would be very, very good. Inspect your oil on that belt, we're gonna get to that too. But
Inspecting the tension, you're just kind of looking at it, make sure everything is tight.
So here's my belt. I'm gonna go right in front of combo 2. Get out of the friction, out of the cloth, so no cloth is in my way. Between high pressure ruts and ice is the best area that we found. We're gonna take a 2x4, slide it underneath my belt. I'm gonna get one strong guy on each end. Then my job is to go stand over here on this side of the belt. Get someone else to quick stand here a minute. Now you let it down. We've pulled the belt up. Whenever we can pull out, we'll pull out. It might be 2 pieces, it might be 3, it might be none. We want to keep it tight.
Okay. So if they're able to lift it, how much would you say you're wanting them to be able to lift?
It's heavy.
No, I got it,
It's
but I'm
heavy.
saying,
If it's
Typically
perfect,
what
how
I'm-
high will it go?
Typically what I'm going to see is they're going to lift about 4 feet and you're going to probably get 2 to 3 pieces up. So then when we do that, you know, we want to make sure, so that belt comes down and I'm peaked like that. I'm not going to be able to take all 5 of these out because I probably won't have quite enough room, but I'll be able to get, you know, 4 out, and then this will fold down, type of a thing. You want to make sure you have enough room that you can peak it or square it so you can work on that joint and pushing that rod back in. So, but once a month, it's real simple. Oh, it's once a month. You know what we do here? Once a month, we check the belt tension. We change the oil on high pressure pumps every month. Why? Oil change is cheap. Manufacturer doesn't recommend that, but that's what we do. We change our air compressor oil once a month.
is that honest, Liz?
No, that's our best practice, but
Yeah.
that's not a recommended
I got it.
from the manufacturer. That's something that Rick and I have developed. You know what? If we go by the manufacturer's recommendation, we go every 6 months. Did we do that? Or did we do that? We'll look at our maintenance. Oh, did someone forget to record it? Right? All right. Inspect off lights and the side of the belt. Being in tune with your wash. If you are coming up here and and I'm misaligning my take-up drum, and all of a sudden I am rubbing on rub rail, and I see red. And I see red because I'm compromising my clips. I'm going to work on that alignment roller underneath and try to move that belt over. I can't be in tune. I want to be there before open. I've got one manager at a site in another state, and they open at 7:30. The guys there at like 4:30 every day. This guy's ridiculous.
Great.
He runs his belt. He listens to it. Runs just the belt. He rides his belt. He cleans metering tips every morning. Swishes a lot of butter. Like, you really don't need to do that. I want to make sure it's consistent every day. Okay. But anyway, next item.
I have a question though,
Yes.
before we jump to the next item. We were out in Muskegon. We swapped, Mike and I swapped 2 of the reverse huggers.
Yep.
The neoprene on those reverse huggers looked better than the stuff is in here, in Waverly. There was, that I could notice visually, maybe 3 pieces on the entire set of cloth that had a frayed end. But we swapped it all. And out of curiosity, I was like, when you spoke Monday, we were like, hey, you could bleach this stuff and it would look like new and we'd get more out of it. I'm trying to understand why that wasn't done there. Because like I said, that neoprene looked fantastic in my opinion, in comparison to what I'm seeing down here. This obviously runs a lot more cars. So
Yeah, and we haven't put the new stuff on here yet for winter. Not entirely done. Okay.
no, I got it.
So-
And I'm just trying to understand why that was removed versus cleaned and left up there. I mean, it looked. I've seen tons of other washes.
Total judgment call.
Okay.
Best practice, Essenberg 101. I'm doing my annual maintenance. I'm not going to skip it. So we will do hydraulic motors, bearings, hoses every year, every tunnel. Now, if I wash 100,000 cars, no. So sort of most of our tunnels are doing 225, 250.
Yeah.
We're getting in there and doing it. I'm going to tell you today that hydraulic motor we recommend every 500,000 cars. Us personally, we're getting in there once a year. Now we're running these 500,000 cars.
Yes.
Okay, but we're not. And my question to Rick was, okay, Rick, and I think James was in on this meeting. How much downtime did you have last year over your 7 tunnels because of a blown hose, a bad motor, or a bad bearing?
Yeah.
I think 30 minutes at Waverly, I think 15 minutes at Rivertown, and I think 15 minutes at South. And I washed 1.5 million cars on 7 locations. And the joke was, well, Mandy replaced the hose at Waverly because she was giving a tour. She had a white blouse on. She was not allowed to wear white blouses. That's not always breaks. And that we would have only been down 15 minutes if we could. So that was the joke. So we're going to do that. Brushes wise, Rick made that judgment call on that one. I'm fine with it.
Okay. Well, how much did that? I'm just curious as to what was the cost
For that brush?
For that brush. Because I can tell you, part of me was hurting to drag that out and put it by the dumpster. I'm just telling you, because I'm like, this thing's beautiful.
So here's the passenger side, wrap around shaft assembly. Whole motor cage is 962.50.
Yep.
Now we reused the motor cage, rebuilt it with bearings and motor.
Well, on this one, we didn't have to do any of that.
Okay.
On the passenger side, all we did was it had already had new bearings and updated in that cage, and we just took the core.
What we did on driver's side.
Driver's side, we did a whole
Yeah.
thing. We did bearings, freaking new motor, everything. And Jim over there gave us the wrong motor. So we ended up putting on a motor that was made for rockers,
I heard.
and that thing spun at like 2 rotations an hour or something.
Guess what?
It was moving slow.
We're not going to charge you extra for that. But
No, it was fantastic. It was good.
it was like, you're never going to screw that up, either one of you guys. It's
Yeah.
going to be like, we talked about, there's 2 motors we use in the tunnel. We talked about that on Monday,
We
right?
did.
Okay? It didn't sink in. You heard it.
No, well, no. I
Yeah.
think the problem was it wasn't guys go pick a motor.
Yeah.
It was guys. Here's what you need.
I know,
Yeah.
but
And we're just like,
but it was-
oh, we're trusting you guys because yours says Tommy on your shirt.
Rick told me,
But
I was laughing. I'm like,
it
that
was.
is such a perfect training thing.
No, it really was.
And then,
I was also glad that we
Yeah.
actually put the hoses on the correct order because we didn't mark them beforehand. We were lucky
Mm-hmm.
because but
The 50%.
Mike was like, we gotta let them know because they were gonna spin it up, and we're like, Mike's like, hey, we didn't mark those before we did it. That's our bad. But you know what? When we swapped
Good.
that motor out, we freaking put a zip strip on there to mark that one, and we
Good.
knew which side it went on.
good, awesome.
And you know what? We're never gonna forget that you mark those before you remove them.
Yep.
So it was a valuable lesson.
And before you run a car, even though you mark them, if you're doing both brushes, hose off both sides, check direction. Huggers, we're going to be turning just like rockers.
Yep.
Going to be opposite of either. Wraps, we can watch those in a minute, but they're turning opposite of each other.
Yep.
One wants to go this way, one wants to go that way. So, $3,200 for those brushes. For
Okay.
the pair, 1,600 each.
Versus the cloth.
Yeah, for the foam. If we
What
wanted
is the
to-
foam if we just wanted the foam? No cord.
Well, I have no idea.
Okay. Because you guys don't do it. I don't think you guys. Rick made it sound as though you guys don't
You know what?
replace cloth.
I used to, or
It's a headache. Anytime
it's
I've done it,
not
it's not easy.
worth it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You are sitting there with a vice grip, trying to hammer those pieces out. You have more
We had to
labor.
cut some before.
You have more labor into removing, and then they don't rebuild it properly with the right cloth. It's out of balance, out of
Yeah.
weight. You have more in labor than the difference in a brand new cord with cloth versus just cloth.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand
agree.
costs, so that and reasoning, so that I can
And-
share that with our CFO.
And we do not carry cloth. Tommy's carries a full inventory of brushes with cores. Oh, that'll be a special order. When would you like it by all that cloth? I've waited 12 weeks for cloth one
Got it. Never
Okay.
mind.
year. So, I mean, even with the core, because Tommy's was so busy, and these cloth companies are so slow. And it was like, sorry, Mike, we don't have them. So we
So
ordered.
essentially, every 400,000 cars. Actually, you guys are
Once a year.
once a year. You guys are doing it,
Once a year.
regardless.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
guys are pushing.
If I break,
Again, I'm trying to point out that you guys are also pushing a lot more cars than like Spring Hill is, for example. Spring
Right.
Hill's going to do 100,000 cars this year, and as we talked about on Monday, the neoprene can last
correct.
400,000 cars.
Yeah, 500,000. Okay, it's going to be a judgment call.
Okay.
We're going to give you a recommendation.
Sure.
Some people will measure the length. It starts X when it's compromised, and I don't know the equation they're using, but when I'm down 30%, I'm going to order.
Okay.
40% I'm going to replace. I don't know if that's the equation they're using.
Yeah.
But
To
some
me, if
people
they
are
look
doing it that
bad,
way.
if
The-
they're
the-
not
the-
getting good coverage and good, surface, touching of the vehicle, it's probably time to get rid of it. But I'm just trying to understand what goes into those judgment calls. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we're just gonna
It's
just
been
go
in-
ahead and
it-
budget to replace every wrap and every reverse hugger every year, then I'm just wanting to make sure I call that out so that we can budget for it.
Got it. Been ingrained in me. We
Got
gotta do it annually.
No worries.
It's just like, Mike, if you're doing it, you do it all.
No problem.
All right,
Onward.
onward. Inspect the take-up drum. You're in that pit. They're flushing the pit every night. We don't want to always rely upon them, but that's real simple with a flashlight. You're just looking in there, looking down, having the belt turn. Very simple. Do I got any big gouges, nicks, anything like that?
It's a hole.
You would say yes. Okay. You may not hear it. Something may happen.
Yeah.
Who knows? All right. Peel back the belt for inspection of glide plates at 20,000 cars or 60 days. This only happens once. We recommend a belt inspection every 50,000 cars. However, at one site I was at, they had me there for their 50,000 car inspection, and we had 4 bad plates, and it had already done some damage,
Wow.
and they hadn't noticed. So we just put that line item in here probably 3 months ago. Based upon that, I want you guys at 20,000 cars to peel your belt back, do a full inspection.
Yeah.
We're looking at the wear-in process. We're making sure nothing's gone catastrophic, that we may not have heard, this type of thing. So that's going to happen once. So you're looking at your glide plates and pockets for wear. So what are we looking at on a glide plate? I wish I had a good picture for you.
I think the great thing is we plan on making a video for everyone.
You got it.
Process.
So,
every single
so
one.
right here, this is my leading edge.
Mhm.
I am going to look at that right here. How is that fitting down?
Right.
Okay, so that's my wear point with that belt coming over. If it's thinning down, what am I gonna do? Flip it 180. Right. We used to say at 200,000 cars, rotate the belt. I am saying now push it to 300 as long as you can. Now for Spring Hill, sprockets, make sure you have 20 of them on hand for your 100,000 car inspection, or be ready to flip them if they're gonna flip them. I'm gonna say at 100,000 cars, you're probably gonna want to install new sprockets or flip them. They're $50 each. I know it's $1,000. However, what's the cost of a new belt?
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
I think that's what where we were on the other page.
And you're talking the split ones that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is that seems like it's an easy thing for those on a replacement standpoint. Once we've aligned the whole set, we've got that little notch. We put that. We take those all apart.
Yep.
And we don't have to remove the. But during the 100,000 inspection, are we going to swap those bearings anyway?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if that was a recommendation or not, because you know. So just those 14 tooth sprockets. Okay. And there are 20 of them.
10.
10 and 10.
Yep.
Okay.
So, the very first time, again, us not having our own belt, I'm at a customer's, and we went to change drive sprockets, and they have got a T-handle Allen.
Okay.
It's a couple hours. Benji and his team can do it in about 20 minutes. Cordless driver. I think it's a 3/16 Allen. I don't write it.
I'm just-
But anyway,
Well,
extend it. You go. You do not need to take that screw all the way out. Just gonna blow it up the interior here. That knot will stay right in place. Pull that screw out. This is threaded on this side. It just needs to get dislodged from the knot. Dislodged from the knot. So now you're not dropping screws. Flip them over. Make sure you're again. Line up. So they'll go zip, 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 zip. Zip, 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 zip. Next one.
Is that what we're going to do, or should we swap to 20 brand new?
You're going to inspect it.
Yeah.
And if you got, oh man, I'm really starting wearing that front edge. My back edge of that drive sprocket looks great. They can flip.
But my thought process is, and maybe this is you know, a little of your guys' belief here is, for you know, $1,000 we can swap them all to brand new ones.
Again,
And not even have to worry
so
about it.
you're questioning us on mirrors. and the value and the
I
cost of
do.
the mirror. Just
I
listen.
do. Absolutely.
You're questioning us replacing the huggers at Muskegon. Now you're saying, why won't we just replace them? So the point is, Jason, you're the owner. It's up to you.
Got it.
Okay?
No, again,
We've only swapped it once.
okay. Fair enough.
Okay?
That's what I'm trying to really get at.
I know that.
I'm not questioning
But-
your, yeah.
So what are we looking at out of that? So see this right here? This is what we're looking at, guys. See how that's one?
Yep. Is that from the teeth?
That's from the drive sprocket engaging
Where was that again?
right here. See how it's one? Okay. Look at the difference here
Yeah, look at
Here.
these. These are rough.
compared to the middle.
We're almost like breaking through the integrity of the outer wall here.
Correct. So notice, bad,
Super
bad, not so bad, not so
No.
bad, not so bad, not so bad, not so bad, not so, a little rough, bad, really bad. Outside ones are bad. Don't you think where the car sits would be the worst?
I would. Not the case.
Case. So, if we were to look down this,
And do you think that's because actually the cars are holding it down and ensuring that there's no slippage? Whereas on the outer edges, there's no weight to push down and this is just plastic,
got
so...
10 drive sprockets.
Yeah.
These outside ones are working crazy to pull that weight through the middle. So they're getting the most stress.
Got it.
This is what we have seen on our belts. Very common. Okay, look how thin that one is right there. Right? If I'm to this point, I'm gonna now flip it. But I'll do a run this slow. I wanna push it. I don't wanna, if we go through, we've had it before where I've seen it where it depends. I've seen the thickness of this right here, all the way down to the pin. Okay, where people have just really pushed it. I don't
So about how many feet? Are you doing it in 5 or 10 foot sections when you're doing the flip?
When we're doing the flip, we'll go 20, we'll roll it up, we'll mark it with a marking crayon. You can see, you and I can see right here which one. But if you're doing it overnight, I write arrows on the belt with a marking tire crayon, wind up 20 feet, rotate it, lay it back out. Yep, arrows are now pointing this way. We're good. The less, if you got a great big guy, maybe go 30 feet, maybe 2 guys can move that thing. It's heavy, but we roll it up, put it on end.
So then to ensure that you're getting the bottom, I'm guessing once you do the top sections, you reattach them.
Correct.
You use your tire crayon to mark where the ends of what's been
Yes.
swapped. Okay. I'm just calling this out for the video
Yep.
so that we'll
Yep,
remember to put it
we
in.
haven't even talked about that yet, but exactly right. It's going to take you 3 times.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, good.
So,
Appreciate it.
but yeah, so this is what we're looking for. And so you're almost creating on the bottom of that belt. When I look down and almost sort of creating, this is very over exaggerated, but a snake through there. Okay, right through where that rod is because we're pulling so much on the outside edges. Now, it's very exaggerated. It's like that because we're wearing out here. So when we're wearing out here and they're pulling, I've got less pull here because my drive sprockets they're not clutched, they don't shift, they're in a straight line. But the outside's pulling, I get very little wear through the middle.
Okay.
Great visual.
Yeah, fantastic. I wish you had a couple of those plates.
Light plates,
we'll
we'll find some in the back room.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah. We'll go for a break here in a minute, we'll go look for those.
No worries.
We'll finish this section, and we'll take a break.
Okay.
Inspect entrance and exit and deck plate every 50,000 cars. On your entrance, we talked about, I mentioned, that first glide plate is welded in. That one started at 3/8, all other glide plates are 3/16. That one is welded in. When I install a new belt, I'm replacing that plate. Rick and I failed to change that on our first belt. Looked great. Okay, what we did not do is this. Get some thin spots. So what you're gonna do, how are you gonna inspect that plate? We ended up wearing a wool in it. Guess what? It comes with a cheese grater.
Oh.
Pieces at a time.
Yep. Shave. That cost us some life, I know too. We learned. Now I can share it with you so you don't have to learn.
Appreciate it.
Okay, so cleaning the entire pit. The pit drains. Simple.
Question.
Yes.
I apologize. So on that first plate, those 3/8 ones, if those are welded in place, why aren't they bolted in place instead to make easier
Talk to the
replacement?
manufacturer, but
Okay.
my first thought is number one, if it's bolted, this is where we're loading the car.
Yep.
You could probably bend a bolt, you could probably break a bolt. We don't
Okay.
want those to shift it off. Number two, if I have now a bolt through there and I have belt rubbing over that, I just created a friction spot.
Okay.
So I'm not an engineer, but
I was
based
thinking
upon
around
my
the
knowledge.
edges or something, I guess that was my mindset.
So cut it off with a grinder. It's a little labor intensive, but it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
And then when you're welding the new one in, are you a welder or not?
Nope.
Okay.
I've done welding.
I've done welding too, and it's not that pretty.
It ain't pretty. I can't make it look like rolls of quarters or anything, but I can tack weld something in place.
Yeah. So try to find someone, I don't know if it's Little James or what, but like Raphael at Northtown.
Yeah.
That guy. He's like, okay, Mike. He has a little eyedropper. Okay, we're gonna push this water out slowly. He lays a bead of water out with this eyedropper. That's all you need 12. You're penetrating in with your rod. You keep pressure in. You're moving back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm the one who taught him how to weld. He now teaches me. The guy is absolutely amazing. My son at the warehouse, I didn't teach him. He's self-taught. Beautiful. Absolutely. Some people have it, some people don't. I'm not patient enough. I'm like, stick. Oh, what's my heat?
Pop.
Yeah.
Pop.
But once you can get it flowing, beautiful. Stainless, you're gonna use a different rod.
Yep.
A 308L or 309L.
Are you guys using arc for those instead of wire?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. That's what we typically stick welding. So. All right. Inspect all glide plates for extensive leading edge wear and rotate 180 degrees as needed. Talked about that. We were on it. A, B, C, D. I'm going to wear on my leading edges, and I'm going to wear through my middle because I got the weight. So when I'm inspecting a glide plate, I'm looking at the leading edge, I'm looking at that middle edge, and I'm looking at my trailing edge. What we used to recommend, and I no longer do, is at 200,000 cars, we're going to flip the belt, and we're going to flip all glide plates. D is going to be from an outside passenger side, and it's going to become a inside. So D is going to go over here. C is going to become an A. A is going to go
On the outside.
and an A. So what I do, I took this D and I flipped it. So this outside edge becomes my new inside edge. My trailing edge becomes my new leading edge. My leading edge becomes my new trailing edge. I've got new and new thickness through.
But you're saying you don't do that anymore?
This is what Ryan, he had a beautiful diagram, and he's like, Mike, this is what I like to train people on. Guess what? Now, I've got another break-in period. Some of these belt plates are worn already. We got some highs, we got some lows. I feel it causes premature, unnecessary belt work. So Rick and I are now, because these drive sprockets are lasting, we're pushing it to 300,000 cars before we flip.
Okay.
And if it's not ready at 3, we'll go 3 1/4, and we're gonna look at it. You know, we might do another premature belt inspection, but let's look at it. Okay, now we're gonna flip it.
But you'll still flip to that methodology?
No, I'm only gonna flip belts or plates as I see that we need them.
Okay, so you see
You are
that.
gonna, and you are gonna replace some. You're gonna replace some during the life of the belt, and it's gonna be in the high pressure rinse area. That's where we're gonna have the most friction. But you will end up replacing those before you replace your belt in that area.
Okay.
Yep, and there might be another. Oh, this one's already been flipped. Both edges are worn. I need a new plate here, guys. Then if there's a big difference with the plate next to it, I need 2 new plates here. We can still use this one somewhere else, but we got a difference wear-wise. I don't want to create a friction point.
Makes sense.
Okay.
So how much are the glide plates? Just curious, because we should keep some on hand, yeah?
Yes.
And we need that list if you have it. Is it already in the stack?
Of what have on hand?
Yeah. I know we were talking with Derek, and he said that
There's a recommended package.
newer package list.
Real quick, we talk about transfer plates. Here's transfer plates. Here's transfer plates. Why do these have notches in them? Like,
Flights in the
so they're a driver's side. Okay, this is a passenger side. Transfer plate. We transfer the car from the concrete onto the belt. Off from the belt onto the concrete at the exit.
I didn't know you guys did detailer belts. The people movers.
Yeah.
Alright, we can. I don't want to slow this down. We can look at that up later. I was just curious if you knew. No biggie.
It's a good picture to look at here.
No.
Oh, that's fine. Now you got my curiosity. I can't remember that. So the key woodruff. We'll talk about that in a minute. So key woodruff. We talked about those drive flanges on our drive unit and on our drive shaft. Guess what? The key woodruff is a separate part number when you order them.
Well, okay.
I don't know why.
Like that would just come with.
Sure seems like it. All right, here is our electric motor. Here's our gearbox. Here's our drive shaft. This isn't a good visual, but I'm going to show you on the driver's side. Okay, look at the driver's side. There is a plug right up here. There is a plug down here. And then there is a plug a little bit lower down on this front end. Vent, fill, drain. So it's like have you ever serviced an outboard motor before for a boat? So you got your fill plug here, your drain plug here. With an outboard motor, what they recommend is you add the gear loop at the bottom hole and your drain hole until it comes up the top, because you want to make sure you displace all any moisture that may be there will rise to the top of the oil as you're putting it in. Here we'll drain it. I'll run half a quart through just to get any residual out. We'll talk about that later, but once a year we're doing this. And then we'll get this funnel as an off on here with a tube. Fill the funnel up, this stuff is thick, and it takes a while. Open it up, and you just fill it up until it comes out of your front plate.
So you're not replacing this oil monthly, annually for the conveyor. Okay.
Yep. So, but on your 50,000 car
And the
inspection,
air compressor. No, that was monthly.
we're doing air compressor monthly, we're doing high pressure pumps monthly. What else are we doing monthly? We talked about it in the background this weekend. RO system.
Filters.
Yeah, filters and chlorine tests. So we're gonna check that oil on that 50,000 car inspection. All right.
Is do you have something that outlines what type of oil goes into this in a document anywhere? Is it already listed there?
Coming right up. Yep.
Got it, never mind.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna inspect the belt drive pockets, showed you what to look for there. We're going to inspect the 2 entrance glide plates and exit glide plates. We just talked about that. We're gonna do the inspect the take-up drum and bearings. Okay, so we got this belt torn apart. I'm down at the entrance. Just roll that take-up drum and listen. Okay, and look. You can hear any noise or not. So. Inspect your drive sprockets and bearings on the other end. Again, you're doing a visual. You'll see if that bearing is blown apart. We had it. We're down on that end. Kid is cleaning the pit. Hey, where are these marbles from? What? Well, this is bad.
Yeah.
Rick, we're ripping it apart. So, inspect the conveyor chain coupling and chain. Talk about that because we're also going to grease that once a month. All the return belt alignment rollers, all the return rollers. We're going to inspect the gearbox oil level. We just talked about the rub rail. The rub rail is
there actually a stick?
Yeah, so I was going to ask.
for the oil. No,
Yeah.
finger end.
If you could reach in and touch the oil, then it's
Should be
good.
right there. Yeah.
If it's
a-
not, are you
it's a
going to fill it
splat.
from the vent?
No, I'm going to fill it right from there until it comes out. Right at the fill check or the sink.
Okay.
This is center plug.
So, yeah.
Top, drain, just right back here. So, we're good.
Okay.
Oh, that's really white and frothy. What's going on here? Let me get moisture in there. Yeah, so we're gonna, there is
If
no.
there's moisture in there, we need to drain it all. Add new.
That's what I would do, and then check again at 50,000 cars.
Okay.
All right, inspect your proc switch and flags. Where's that located, Mike? We looked at it Monday. We saw a blinking light.
On the side of this actually.
It's on the outside
Right.
of the driver's side. Inspect the cleanliness of the V-troughs. So inspect what you expect. You get the guy's list at night. You as manager come in the next morning, what are you gonna do? You're gonna inspect the completed work. Is it to the standard? Sometimes you think they should know this, but you will realize soon how they don't know what they don't know. Okay, just like me, I assume you knew exactly where the proc switch or pulse sensor, as we talked about on Monday, is.
Yeah.
You had to think for a minute, but because I showed you on Monday, I'm assuming you knew that.
Right.
Okay, you got the right answer, but you had to think. I had to give you a little hint, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, give clear direction and then inspect what you expect.
Got it.
So, all right, change gearbox oil annually. It's an ISO 220 oil. We're using a synthetic base. They do make a mineral base. Hydraulic oil, cap oil, hydraulic oil. reciprocating oil.
Guess you guys don't sell it.
I am told we have
It's alright, I mean, we can
no. Yeah, you know what though?
Probably get it from-
It's a pain.
find.
It is a pain to find. We go to actually an oil distributor, and I actually call the quicker state distributor who we purchased the hydraulic oil from. He dyes it for us.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, here's the spec. It's an ISO 220. Call back again. Finally went over to another one, which is a much smaller one than they got for us.
Yeah.
So, it's expensive.
Okay.
Very expensive. It's synthetic. All right. Order spare sprockets, chain coupling, and bearings for inventory at 100,000. When we're through this whole list, we will go and cover the parts list.
Okay.
Okay. Flip belt to run the opposite direction. 200-300 now is what we
Yes.
put. Drivetrain overhaul, replace bearings, drums, chain couplings as needed. Should last life of the belt. However, we're inspecting over 50,000 cars. We have parts on hand to troubleshoot if needed. So if I got a bad bearing on my exit end on my drive shaft, I will make sure that I have a drive shaft on hand. I'm gonna have it already built up with 10 sprockets on it and 2 bearings. I'm going to replace the whole thing. We've brought a drive shaft to a machine shop with a 2-ton press and couldn't get the bearing on.
That's kind of what Rick was saying to us.
Yeah.
We were like, completely with you, Rick.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So
to
now
us.
you can try it a little bit in the back room or cut that bearing off, clean the drive shaft up. Now have another replacement.